Oh, there we are. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Hi, Tanya. Hello, Jean Hartman. Welcome. Welcome to the show this evening. Gee, that light's a little on the glary side tonight. What's going on? I think it's looking up there a little bit too much. Oh, that's a little bit better. Scary stuff. I have enough scary stuff in my life, in my daily life. I don't need more on the screen. And I see that we have got a third viewer, and I'd love you to say hello if you don't mind. It'd be really nice. I know that we've got a few more people to join us. So, hello, Lisa. Lisa's in the house. Speaking of that, I saw something a little while ago. A young man who does Elvis impersonations, but oh my word, you would think there's Karen. Hello, Karen. You would think that it is actually Elvis. This young man is amazing. And Lisa, I've got something to show you and to show all the ladies, of course. But I was doing a beautiful reading today, and when I was getting ready, a little something kept catching my eye, and I must admit, I just couldn't believe it. And I thought, if Lisa comes on tonight, I must show her. Oh my. Oh, now you're going to fall apart. Oh, did I read what you just put there? Well, you remember that one that I showed you? I don't know if you can see really clearly, but these ones here and up the top of it, it's actually cracked right down. It's broken. To my knowledge, it has not been dropped, and yet the top is broken. And here, which you possibly can't see with the light, sorry everyone, but here is like frosted, and then you can see all that cracking there. So Lisa, since you saw it, all of this here and up here, and then what's happened to the tip, and also around the side, that's actually all new. Gold stuff. Yes, Tanya, my poor crystal. I don't know if that happened after the last time I actually brought it out and had it here with me, because one week I had it on the desk with me. I don't mean to laugh at it. My poor crystal. Anyway, I don't think you can see it as clearly as I can on here, but the cracks through here are just incredible. It's can't even describe it. It's like, oh my gosh. So I don't know. I'll have to see if I can get maybe Queen Fairy Anastasia, and see if she can do some magic. Call on the elementals, because this poor crystal is seriously broken. And while talking to you, I now find that there is a big chip here. So what you can't see is that inside here are incredible cracks. And then down the bottom, look at those explosions there. So for the ladies who don't know, osteoarthritis, yeah, I think so. Poor thing. Hey, Tanya. For the ladies that don't know, which would be Jean and Karen, this beautiful crystal was absolutely amazing when it called me at an event number of years ago now, and it was absolutely stunning. And it said, I want to go home with you. So I brought it home, and a few days later, I did a meditation with it. And then I held it doing a healing. I was sending remote healing. And I went to put it down and looked at it and went, oh my gosh, what's happened here? Oh, wow. Gee whiz. And I had the energy of holding it. I had caused cracks in it. And I sent a picture of it to the lady I bought it from, and she said, oh my gosh, what's happened to the crystal? And I said, well, that's from me holding it and doing meditation and doing a healing with it. And she said, oh dear. Now, as I talk to you, I'm finding it's as if rats have been eating it because there are pieces actually missing out of it. So my poor crystal, gee, thanks, Lisa. Ladies, can you see what Lisa said? I bet it's sorry now that it called you. It's such a shame. And you know, I haven't been able to find another one that looks like that. Another one that beautiful. Well, thankfully, I can't do that to my beautiful piece of sodalite. Well, I certainly hope I can't. My sodalite and sugdalite. Gosh, too many S's. So, right. A few more people probably, but we're going to get underway. So thank you all for taking the time to sit with me on Soul and Beyond. And Jean, I think this is the first time that I've had the pleasure of you joining us, so thank you. Soul and Beyond was asked of me, yeah, maybe Karen, maybe, I don't know about that because it's me that's done the damage. Same as I've got a ring that I'd only had it on for 10 minutes and it had a big crack across it. And the same as with a bangle made of most beautiful crystal. And I took it back to the lady where I'd bought it from and said to her, I just want to show you something. And she was horrified. She said, it wasn't like that when you bought it. Did you drop it? And I said, no, not at all. This is just what happens. So Soul and Beyond was shown to me. Oh, what's Jean asking me? Yes, Jean. Yeah, my energy and some crystal experts, I suppose I call them experts. It's a name that everybody has these days, isn't it? You can be an expert floor sweeper. She said that my energy was just too strong, and Lisa's lovely spouse is an Italian man, Giuseppe, good evening. And he said the same thing when he saw the crystals. He said to Lisa in Italian, it's just Gwenda's too powerful for them. Yeah, well, you know, Tanya, everybody can be an expert at anything now. So Soul and Beyond shown to me because, as a number of you probably know, I stopped doing my show on the Spiritual Events Directory for a number of reasons, and I loved my time on there, and I'm very, very thrilled to have come across Sarah and been able to be in that community. But I was shown that I was to create Soul and Beyond, and this will grow into my own TV is the word, but I don't like that. Television. Well, I suppose I can tell a vision, but it won't be like mainstream, lamestream TV. So we'll build on here, and I do welcome in. Sorry, I'm just listening. So I welcome in the guidance, obviously. We're talking soul and beyond. So we're welcoming the guidance from the divine, which in this instance can be specific to you, or it will be collective. So it can be a message for everyone because it is relevant to everyone. And if I just digress there for a moment and say, we all know that the last few years has been an interesting time on Earth in this realm. And the collective energy has been very rocky for everyone. The collective energy has been more powerful than ever that I've seen in this lifetime, and I don't recall it being like this in any other lifetime. So we've had, you know, the world has seen what are called world wars, right? And there's been a lot of talk over years about the Third World War being a nuclear war. Well, what would be the point of that, because that would just blow everything to smithereens, and that'd be the end. That'd be end of days. But they were quite wrong. The Third World War is here, and happening, and it has been happening for the last few years, but it's not the kind of war that humans have seen before. This war is a spiritual and intergalactic war, and it has still got some time to run. So that has really impacted on the collective energy. And I'm not going to say collective consciousness, because that is done to death. And really, in this instance, it's not about the collective consciousness. It's more about the collective unconsciousness, or when I mean unconscious, I'm not talking about the part of you that holds a tremendous amount of power. I'm talking about unconscious, as if you've had an anesthetic, you've passed out. So the collective energy of the unconscious masses has been a really big challenge for a lot of people, especially if you're a sensitive, if you are what I call a gifted person. And I'm just going to put a little side note in there. People want to carry on like lunatics that everybody's gifted. Well, maybe they are, but it doesn't mean that they have come to this time, this lifetime, to use those gifts. Everybody has sixth sense. Everybody. There's no doubt about that. Everybody has intuition. But again, we see in the masses, they don't use it. So when I talk about someone, yes, dystopia, when I talk about someone being gifted, I'm talking about someone like myself who can see, smell, taste, hear, spirit, entities, energies, forecast. I'm a prophet, so I can forecast what's coming and see what's been. And that's just the way I was born. That's who I am. So that to me is a gifted soul, naturally gifted, not someone that's gone and done a 2-day workshop and got a piece of paper to say that they're clairvoyant, psychic, whatever, witch's broomstick, or the worst one, a shaman. That's so incredibly insulting to the true shamans of the world. So that's what I mean when I reference that. So it's been, brainwashed is another term for them, Lisa. It's been a very tumultuous time. So if you are a gifted soul that has not been able to harness your gifts, not being able to utilize the power of them and really understand them, then you'll be thrown all over the place with all sorts of ailments, even hysteria for some people, paranoia for others, schizophrenia attacks for others. It's horrible. So if you are a gifted person that's never been able to harness and step into your gifts, these last few years have been a living hell for those people. And then there is the empaths, as they're called, the very sensitive people, and I know there's a couple of you on here. This collective mess of energy has been very challenging for you. So the unconscious collective has been a flaming nightmare in more ways than one. Trying to ride that and trying to also avoid the pitfalls of all the false prophets, false light, false shamans. They've come out of the woodwork by the dozens, and there's been a reason for that. Absolutely there has. To throw everyone off their path, to try and harness those who are naturally gifted and steal their gifts. All sorts of things have been done. So it's been a really tough time. And that's part of the spiritual side. But there's also the very unhelpful people that go and play with portals and welcome in entities and other galactic beings. And then that opens the door for other issues, other problems. So that's why I say it's an intergalactic war. We used to have a universal agreement, and that agreement was no non-interference. Well, that agreement, a little bit like laws and things here, has been broken. So there's no longer an agreement, a universal law of no interference. It's open slather for everything down here now, down here. So it's a very challenging time. So when I am looking at helping you and supporting you in your journey and helping you be able to navigate the changes and the energy and everything, then I work on a very high level. And it is pure light. If you want to call it light, it is pure divine light. And it's a pleasure to be of service. It's yes, Karen, in a word, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, well, one or the other. I like your first one, Karen, because it really has been a show down here. So being able to bring soul and beyond for you, where we can really harness the true, beautiful divine light. And I welcome in visitors from the divine light. And I set up the premise that only those of the highest order of what I call God are welcome. It's the only ones that are welcome in my home anytime. There's always gangbusters that try and break in. And then, of course, the beautiful elemental kingdom who are part of that world of God. And then, as we had a few weeks ago, like a lot of what? The moments. Expand on that for me, Karen, like a lot of what? Oh, what the moments. Yes, got you. Yeah, absolutely. And there's more of them to come. And then a few weeks ago, we had a visitor from Middle Earth. I really enjoy the visitors from Middle Earth. They are beautiful beings. Now, some will say that they are the Atlanteans, they are the Lemurians, who have been shunned, who went into Middle Earth to save themselves and stay there. So whatever, if that works for you. But I've had dealings with the Middle Earth people for decades and decades, lifetimes, and they are beautiful. So they come with great intent for goodness. So again, they're welcome in. And we do have our mischievous Queen Anastasia, Queen of Fairies, who's been with me for several lifetimes. And she likes to pop in. But the presence that stands with me tonight is always so deeply humbling, and always rises such tremendous emotion for me. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory of what the woke brigade and all these, not of the light, the false light, have been saying about this beautiful being. And they say it's just a story. It's just a made-up story to make people believe something so that the Romans could take control. It's a made-up story so that people would believe something that was false. It's a made-up story so it could give people false hope. It's a made-up story so that money could be arranged in the world. It sort of had all this spin-off. And I'm here to say that's the biggest load of nonsense ever, because I have had many wonderful, wonderful experiences and visitations with Lord Jesus Christ. And that is who stands with you, with me tonight. There is nothing more powerful than the hand of Jesus Christ. There is nothing more encompassing and healing than the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ. And he stands with us tonight. So our beautiful visitor who will bring divine messages for you, who will bring his healing energy for you now, he will also put into your hands, your heart, his expansive healing energy for all whom you care about and all whom you might like his prayer of healing for. So as we sit together tonight, know that his hand is on your heart. His heart goes to you with the most amazing healing rays. And of course, Lord Jesus has the greatest heart of compassion. And he says that compassion is the greatest thing that is needed by mankind at this time, needed from one to the other. And I will say that even for me, as it has been a challenging time to see just how successful the efforts of the darkness, known as the devil, and all his brigade, and those who are not friendly to humans from other galaxies, the efforts they've gone to have certainly been very testing, and testing on my level of patience and compassion for those who refuse to believe, refuse to see through this massive illusion. And then I have been reminded in meditation and in healing time with beautiful people, compassion. So opening our own hearts wider, opening our own hearts, filling them and letting them pour out with love and compassion, then this is how we be a contributor to healing yourself, your loved ones, your neighbors, everyone, and it does ripple out into the world. We don't have to do anything. And that's where Lord Jesus says, that's where you call on me. And that's where you can lean into his endless, infinite heart of love and compassion. And then you can go to the Father, you can go to the divine. Father, divine, same thing. And call for that bit more help. And sometimes it's necessary for us to ask for that help from either Lord Jesus or the divine, and we leave it to them. And we carry on. And when we carry on and carry forward with the sense of divine light, with our hearts open. So in the midst of all the nonsense, when we were in lockdowns, when I would go to the shops, I would ask to be protected in divine light, and I asked that in every step I took, it would shine out divine light. And from my center, where your center of power resides, that I would emanate God's light. And the one thing that I found was necessary was to not look in the eyes of the people at the shops. And I found that really challenging because I love to connect with people through their eyes. They're the window of the soul, right? And I love to be able to look to people and send energy to them and also a smile. So even though I wasn't looking at them, I would still avert my look but smile. Not walk around like a Cheshire cat, look like an idiot, but smile at those that would be receptive, because a lot weren't. So for yourselves, as you go forward from tonight, make yourselves a little mantra. And whenever you go out, whenever you're on the phone, ask to be shielded in divine light of the highest order of God, and ask to step in that light so that when you step, you send out that divine light everywhere. And then you surrender it and you leave it to do its work. You don't have to know the ins and outs, the whys, the why nots, who's it gone to, who hasn't it gone to. I don't want it to go to them. That's the last person I want it to go to, Premier of WA, Premier of Victoria. You don't have to do that. In fact, putting restrictions will halt the light. What we want is to lift that heavy, unconscious mass of energy and soak it in divine light. And this is what I'm hearing from Lord Jesus at this time. He also says that for every one of you that is here tonight, for things that are ailing you, for things that are holding you heavy, he will lift that for you tonight. You welcome his energy, his love, and you'll receive it. If you go looking for it, you're not going to find it, right? Yeah, that's why, Lisa, it was important not to. And even sometimes now, certain places, same thing. As time goes by and the impact of people's choice to participate in the narrative, there will be more times where that unconscious energy will be very weighted and very dense again. And those are the days where you need to really check in with yourself and make sure that you are stepping out in divine light and that you are shielded. I like to teach, beautiful, Tanya. I like to teach the double-sided mirror. So if you think about having a mirror all around you and under you, you must always go under your feet and over the top. And the side that you would be looking at, you fill that with divine light, with love, with kindness, whatever words you want to fill it with, whatever vibration you want to fill it with. And the other side is reflective. So anything that is not of divine light is immediately reflected away from you, but on the understanding it's reflected to its owner. So it doesn't just go zipping off around the world or around the environment. It could land on some poor child, some poor baby, an elderly person. It's not theirs. And see for yourself this incredible light going out from you. Now, Lord Jesus, as we know, is the most powerful healer. And then there is Archangel Gabriel and all of his beautiful army of healing angels. But Jesus is right up there. I've met Gabriel. In fact, Gabriel turned up to say that it was he that would speak through me and bring the messages through me. And it was the the most mind-blowingly humble experience. Truly, it was just amazing. And then when I met Lord Jesus the first time, I didn't know which one was more humbling. So don't like to put them in different categories, because really any of them that are of the highest order of God's light, to me, they're all on a par, just incredible. But Lord Jesus and his presence is different, very different to any of the archangels, and even Archangel Gabriel. You see, Lord Jesus lived as a human being, lived as a man, and he got to experience the failings, the weaknesses of mankind. He got to experience the unkindness of mankind, the way that mankind can be so very divisive of their own people. So he lived that, whereas Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Raphael and all of them, they do not live, they do not incarnate into human beings to actually live a human life. They can have one of their angels incarnate as a human for special reasons, emergencies, you might say. But they don't live the life. They will incarnate for a short time because they come for a particular reason. Whereas Jesus has that experience. So his awareness of what it's like to carry compassion in your heart, his awareness of what it's like to be at the foot of judgment and division and meanness, you know the story. So his understanding of those feelings and what it does in a community, what it does among the people, he's lived it. So when he talks about compassion and compassion for you, he has that lived knowing, lived experience. And there's nothing beats that, right? There's nothing higher than lived experience. You can read all you like out of a book, but it will not be like a lived experience. So I am Lady Magdalene. Some may call me Madonna. I stand with you this evening through here. It is not often that I am present in this world. I have been known to appear far away in mountains. I have been known for the sacred water that runs from where I stand, but it is not often that I will present in this way. Lady Magdalene, the Madonna, as I was known. I am here to tell you of the flowing waters, of the most powerful healing waters that are going to soon very emerge from the mountain where it is known that I have been seen and was seen by the three young girls in the time gone by. People to this day go to get that holy water, and I present tonight to you, and I give to each of you a full-bloom white rose. This white rose you may place anywhere, over your heart, over your chest. Please hold it close. For when I bring the rivers to run through that mountain, there will be miracles, miraculous turnarounds. The waters will flow to bring healing and unity. It will be a powerful flow, not anything that has been seen before. Francis of Assisi will also appear next to me, for I will appear at the river flow. Lord Jesus Christ, the shroud on which it was said he was laid, it too will appear, but not in the manner of which you are accustomed of seeing things, so not in what you call something you can touch. It will appear in the waters, ghostly, you may call it. We three come together to bring the most powerful run of water down that mountain. Whilst many of you are not near to that mountain, you will feel the effect of that water. And the pure white rose that I give you, each of you this evening, will place it in your vision here, and you will know when that water runs, for you will see the white rose present in front of you. Well, I'm full of surprises. That was a treat. If you don't know the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, I would suggest that you get it and you print it out, have it where you can read it. The poem that Lord Jesus is asking for you to have is called Desiderata. You're welcome, Jane. It sure was, Karen. Unexpected. Yes, Lisa, we're often... Oh, beautiful, Karen. We often think that, don't we, Lisa? It's going to be difficult to top, but I don't know. There's lots of miraculous things. Well, that's also a beautiful, humbling privilege for me, as she has presented me with a rose also. I will know beforehand when that river runs. So Desiderata and St. Francis of Assisi's prayer, have those both printed out If you've got a book that's got them in, that's fabulous. I would like to suggest to you that you put them into a journal. Back at you, Tanya. Lots of kisses, thank you. Both of them have left now. So I'm going to ask for the guidance on speaking with you about being able to unleash your powers and also being able to understand what is beyond the veil. So the veil between this world and other worlds, really there's more than one veil, but we have one particular veil in the human experience that we can look behind. You can increase your connectivity. You do that through alignment. You do that through using daily practices, tools like meditation, journaling, sitting in quiet space, walking in nature, getting lost at the ocean, getting lost in a cup of water. These things are the tools that you can use to assist you with alignment. Our Desiderata and the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, ASSISSI. You can just search prayer of St. Francis and it will come up, but they're the two that they asked you for to have. So the reason that it's helpful for you to be able to do that alignment isn't so that you can go and sneak peek behind the curtain. It's not like that. It's so that you can have greater insight to living this life with more ease, with more peace, and you are better equipped to deal with whatever is thrown your way, particularly as this spiritual and intergalactic war is not over. It's still got at least another 3 years to run. In saying that, now listening or hearing from Mary Magdalene, it's blown me away, to be honest, because to be honest, I've never met her before. Mother Mary, I have, not Mary Magdalene. So being able to navigate your way through the rest of the nonsense in this intergalactic and spiritual war, it's your greatest power to do that. And, oh, I thought you might have been, Lisa. Yeah, lucky you. So did you go? I believe St. Francis's little cottage is still there and something left the way it was. I mean, it would be rotten by now, surely. So being able to have a better alignment leaves you with greater power to manage what comes from behind the veil. And when the veil thins at different times, and mind you, to me, it's got lots of holes in it now since the law of no interference was removed. So you've been too, Jean. Oh, awesome. Lucky girls. We should do a spiritual sojourn over there. I should be careful what I say. So what is beyond the veil? Well, beyond the veil are different levels of beings. Beyond the veil are different realms. Beyond the veil are also what we might call the things that live on the astral plane. Now, a lot of people think it's fun. Oh, wow, Lisa. Wow. A lot of people think it's fun to go to the astral plane. If you have very good command of yourself and you are able to be very strong in your own protection and make command of what can come to you and what cannot, then yeah, go play on the astral plane. But if you have not got any of that, do not go play on the astral plane. When I go to sleep at night, I command that there be nothing from anything that has origin from the astral plane is not to come my way. I go beyond it. I ask to go beyond the astral plane to the plane of the angels, the guides. That's it, nowhere else. But a lot of people are very curious and they want to know what it's like on the astral plane. And then they wonder why they have nightmares and it looks like their roofs are opening up when they're trying to go to sleep at night, when they start having invasion of all sorts of beings and things, and wonder where that's come from. So you need to have very good foundations to go walk around on the astral plane. Then beyond the veil is where there is those opportunities to be like in the Matrix, where you go through walls and you go through time and you go through dimensions. I'll just put in inverted commas. Yes, there is not time like here, but we say it as time, space, and dimensions because you can end up in the future. You can end up anywhere. You need to know where you're driving. It's no different than driving a car here. You need to know where you're going. So on the behind the veil is all sorts of things, but that doesn't mean you need to be going there. What I'm saying to you is beyond the veil is tremendous power that you can access. Beyond the veil is where you can go to higher realms if you wanted to. So what can come from beyond the veil, if it is called in from the right place and it aligns with you, this is where you can create the reality. This is where you can shift reality. The risk is you can get stuck out there. Some people might say, well, I'd rather be there than here some days. Or careful what you wish for. So beyond, it's also about what is beyond what we see here by tangible, solid things. Because the world beyond what we see here is rich. It's amazing, it's intriguing, and it's powerful. So everybody has the ability to travel beyond here or to communicate with those that are unseen. And by that I mean the angels, the guides, the guardians, all the beautiful beings that are there to support you. But it is important to know who you're talking to know where you're at when it comes to doing these things. So ramping up your own power, aligning with your natural gifts, your natural abilities is really important, and particularly at this time of humanity, at this time of the world, because it will give you greater sense of life, greater sense of future, and it also brings you to be part of the light brigade that are the ones who are going to secure the future of humanity. And that's really important. There's a lot of trash going on presently, a lot of things that many of us might say we would never have thought we would see. A lot of junk. So the more that people decide to harness their light, harness their real selves, then the better it is for lifting that heaviness of the unconscious collective. who would rather be in that? You know, who would rather be in the light brigade that lifts the burden and the heaviness of the unconscious collective rather than, you know, meandering around, not participating really? How do we do what, Jean? Just expand on that for me, love, and I'll see if I can answer there for you. Well, I must be able to answer because it's obviously something I was talking about. I'll wait for you. Oh, the light brigade. Yes. Yeah. Woo! Be in the light brigade. That's the way, Tanya. It's where we've got to be. And I'm super excited because the School of Wesh kicks off for this year on Wednesday. I can't wait to work with some beautiful ladies who are wanting to really step into and harness their natural gifts and explore their gifts, know how to use them. It's going to be super exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. How do we communicate with angels and guides? Oh, one of my favorite teachings, Jean. Well, the beginning way to communicate with them is be very precise with who it is that you would like to speak to. Then you set up a sacred space. You choose a particular place to sit, and you also choose the same time of day or night, and you attend that place and have your sacred space set up. So sacred space would have candle. Ideally, it would have water, maybe some salt, anything that's earthy. And your sacred space would have your signature on it, meaning that it would be something that you like to be around, that you really like the presence of it. And then you sit, you would sanctify, make that space safe. So you would do a prayer of the light, bring in divine light, and you make it very clear that only the messengers. So say, for example, you wanted to hear from a particular angel, I suggest that you go to the big fella first. So whether you call it God, Allah, Buddha, whatever, source if you must, the divine is always a nice one, or the almighty divine, and ask if you can have the presence of that particular angel. And the reason I say that is because once you bring the big fella in, nobody else can portray themselves as that angel. You must always remember that the darkness is very clever at portraying itself as anything of the light. But of course, it cannot hold that because it's not of the light. So it can't, well, some will argue that and go, of course it's of the light, it's light and dark, it's all one. Well, I have a lifetime, many lifetimes of experience, and I go here for Chasey if that's right. We have light and we have dark, and that's it. So when you put that caveat, if you like, on, that's all that can answer, that's all that can come to you, and making sure that your space and your home is well protected. Now, initially, you may not hear anything, but you might feel it. And afterwards, you may find you get this thought that answers the question you had, or a sense that something good is coming, or that things are going to be okay. And if you don't ignore those things, if you smile and give thanks, then you will see things unfold. So you may not actually hear them initially. You might hear buzzing in your ears, ringing in your ears. They can, because they speak on a very high frequency, they don't speak like us. They've got to slow it down. So begin that way, Jean. Set up your sacred space. Same time, same time of the day, and maybe you want to do it every Tuesday, for example, at 11 a.m. Without fail, you go to your sacred space at that time every day, and you set your intention and you do your prayer, and you wait and you just sit there until you're ready to leave. And then you dismantle your sacred space and you clear all the energy. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots out there, Tanya, especially in the nature, because you've got all the nature spirits as well, and it's much easier for communication. But when you're first starting, it's a good idea to have a space at home and make it sacred. Magical, mythical creature, divine light, with these blessed creatures help us astral travel and stay safe whilst every night. You would want to be pretty clear on why you want to be out in the astral plane, what you want from there, Karen. And you can always ask for your guides if they're game enough to go to look after you. Yeah, Lisa, that sort of comes into what I was saying a moment ago, that it's better to have a sacred space. Did you not come into the School of Wisdom? I don't think you did. And we actually went through how to set up a sacred space and what it means. So how to create it. If you're going to do it out in the garden, you're in a lot of open space. Do you have the belief and the faith enough to hold that entire space, that whole garden space? That's a lot of open air, if you know what I mean. You're welcome, Jean. Yeah, no, I didn't think you did, Lisa. You missed out on some good stuff there in the School of Wisdom. So, and also the little course I ran on how to connect with your angels and guides. I might have a look for that one and put it up as an opportunity too. And that's got worksheets and things in it. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. When you're just beginning to commune with them, it's much easier if you are in a contained environment where you feel completely safe. You can feel very vulnerable out in nature, out in the garden, if you haven't done this before, and you really need to be able to feel into that presence. Whereas out in nature, out in the garden, you've got all the activity of all the beautiful nature spirits, and they'd just love to join in with you. You missed out too, Tanya. Goodness, girls, where have you been? So that's why, and also understanding how to set up a sacred space. You know, that is very important. And then you know how to do it, whether you go to the beach or whether you go to a park or whatever, you will know how to set it up right. So there you are, lovelies. There's some food for thought for you and a couple of beautiful visitors. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will look into my little short workshop on communicating with angels and guides and put that up if anyone's interested, or I might put it up as a do-it-yourself. We'll see. Have a look at it. And if you're not sure about things, please do go and have a look and see what I've got available for you that can help you on your journey. You know, that's my greatest joy, and that is my service, to be of service to you. So everyone, have a beautiful evening, and thank you. Look after yourselves. God bless. Yes, and lots of love. And I'll see you next week. Bye.